morena, morena, morena. Your girl is here. I am doing an IG live this morning with Jessie from Your Daily Dose of Self-Love. And I'm so excited to get into it. I have not done an IG live in so long, so I'm so excited to do this morning. Hey girlfriend. Okay, joined. Let me see how to get you on. Hi guys, good morning. Morena, morena, morena. Yes, hello.
Hello.
How are you?
So good. How are you?
Oh my goodness, I am so good. Thank you so much for joining me.
Of course. Oh my gosh, I'm excited to be here.
Yes. Oh my gosh, it's so good to meet you because we have been chatting online and all the things
Yeah.
and yeah, become friends that way and it's like, yay, we get to chat
I know
live now.
we get to chill. It's awesome.
Yes, we get to chill together. Amazing. How's your day been? Did you go on a hike this morning?
I did. And now I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to get on live. But yeah, it's been good. I'm just like, no, I'm after this, I'm like, oh, I've already started a little bit
Yeah.
early. So just to clarify, it's 5 o'clock here, and then what time is it for you?
It's 10 a.m.
Okay, yeah. Love it.
So it's night there. So it's okay.
Yeah, see? Exactly.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me. I really wanted to get you on a live because I love the work that you are doing. You are freaking hilarious. But one thing I love about you is you are so authentically yourself. Every time I see something that comes out from you, I can feel that authentic energy coming off of you. And I think a lot of people struggle with that in this day and age because they're worried about what people might say about them. They're worried about what people might think, their family, friends, all these kinds of things. They're worried about trolls and haters as well, which I see you get a lot of. And
Yeah.
you reply in such a hilarious, fun, amazing way. So that's one thing I love. I absolutely love about you. And I was like, I need to get you on to really pick your brain on like how you do this because I know that it will help so many women as well. So I'd love to start actually just by you just telling us a little bit about yourself and your journey and how your daily dose of self-love came to be.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, my name's Jessie. I have run Your Daily Dose of Self-Love for 2 years. I live in about the smallest community in Canada, in next to no people. Um, I have been doing Your Daily Dose of Self-Love for about 2 years. Originally, I had started it back in 2018, but it was just I was still too young. I didn't know how to deal with certain scenarios like the trolls and the haters, and it didn't resonate with me yet. Um, Fast forward a couple of years, so that was 2018. Fast forward to, oh my gosh, 2023. I myself and my best friend, we were in Vegas, and I was fat shamed by someone. um what are they called? When you walk into a club and they're more or less your liaison, he more or less said like, you should be so happy and honored that you're here being the size that you are. And I was so taken aback by that. I'm like, well, what do you mean? He says, well, usually, fat girls don't get into the clubs. And that just totally at the time shook my world. I couldn't believe people thought like that, believed in that. Just it blew my mind that someone would have that kind of mentality and hatred towards people. So my best friend and my mom, like I had kind of been just down in the dumps about it for a while, and they're like, God, that guy really affected you. And that's kind of when I took a step back and I'm like, you know what, he did, and why is that? Let me do some inner work to figure out why he affected me. And that's when your daily dose started happening.
Amazing. Well, not amazing that that happened, but amazing that you did some inner work from that because, oh my gosh, that's freaking terrible. But I think that's one thing we relate a lot on is I do a lot of content or, yeah, content around fat phobia, around just what we're told. We're told with our upbringing around, TV, radio, even on social media, that fat is not okay. And
Yeah.
the worst thing in the world is to be fat. There's such a fear of being fat. And I love the content that you bring through as well. So I would love to know what kind of inner work or what was the journey going into maybe for me, I had to unlearn fat phobia, especially internalized fat phobia as well. I didn't even realize I had internalized fat phobia. And I was like, oh my goodness, it's all around us. So I had to unlearn a lot of things. What was your journey like?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely unlearning a lot. But for the most part, it was really the inner workings of why am I scared to be a certain way? Why does fat and skinny hold such high, you know, why are the morals around them so different? Why is one bad where the other is glorified and idolized?
Yeah.
I'm like, well, what's so different? And when I really started looking at, I wasn't happy when I was at my skinniest. I hated my body. I hated who I was. I hated not eating, over exercising. And I'm like, you know what? I can't do this forever. It is a no-win battle. I'm like, so if I'm not going to do these things anymore, what am I going to do? So I started from the bottom and started working up to, hey, maybe I can be myself and I can eat what I want to eat while obviously eating healthy and, exercising just to feel good in my body, not doing it because I have to achieve a certain body type. So I feel like it was years in the making, but it was just starting from day one. What do I like about myself? And how can I work on achieving more of the things that I like along with who I want to become?
Yeah. Absolutely. And I really relate to your story. I think I saw it, I think it was a reel, and you were showing that you were at your smallest size. Someone had talked about like, I've never met a skinny, depressed person or something like that. And then you showed all these photos of you at a smaller size, and you were talking about how unhappy you were, how you were starving yourself. I think you talked about I don't know if it was fainting or something like that. There was like
Yeah,
things like that. Yeah, that happened as well. And I related to that because I was the same. I had this mentality at my lowest moment, at my breaking point, where I was like, if I just lost 20, 30 kgs, I'll be fine. Everything will be great. I will love myself. I'll be rich. I will get the house, the car, the man of my dreams, all these kinds of things.
yeah,
And then I lost the weight and I had body dysmorphia. I would look in the mirror and I couldn't, no matter what, I couldn't love myself. I was the smallest. I look at those photos now and I'm like, holy moly, I was so small. And
yeah,
so there was that. And you think you're going to be happy once you get to that smaller size, and it doesn't come. It didn't come for me. And then I think about all the moments where I starved myself. I remember at one moment I fainted because I was trying to get the smallest that I could. When I was trying to get the smallest number on the scale, and
yeah,
I was not drinking water as well because the water weight was what I was told as well. And then I was in saunas trying to sweat out all the water weight as well. Like it was just, it's so freaking terrible. And my message is always that you do not need to lose weight to love yourself.
yeah.
So I would love to know, like, what's your message? What would you love for women to know right now hearing this?
What is my main, like, if I had to summarize, my gosh, I mean, your message is perfect. You can't love yourself skinny.
Mm,
You can't love yourself until you find true inner happiness within you. when I got to my skinniest weight, it still wasn't good enough. And then I realized, oh my God, this is never going to be good enough.
Yeah.
You know, the more you work on yourself, the more you realize who you want to become and what you want to do with who you are, the more you will find love within yourself. And what I tell people the most is it's one day at a time.
Yeah.
It's one small step a day can just make the biggest impact and the biggest changes into what you see in both yourself and your overall outlook to how you see the world.
Mm. Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much, Shelby, for being here. Shelby can relate to so much to this, and I know so many women can relate, and that's why this message is so, so important. That's why we're doing this live in the first place, because I know that women can relate, and I want them to see that there is an alternative. You actually don't need to do anything. You can love yourself right now exactly as you are.
Yeah.
So glad that you are here, Shelby. Thank you for being here. Thank you for everyone who is tuning in this morning or this evening, if you're in Canada. I would love to know, what do you think is something that is not talked about enough when it comes to body confidence and self-love?
Ooh, that's a great question. What is not talked about enough? That, I mean, I see it over social media so much, and this is exactly why I feel like we do what we do. Just because you are a certain body size
Mm,
does not mean that you're not healthy. I
mm,
cannot stress that enough. You know, I'll have people say, oh, you know, you're going to die young. Oh, you're morbidly obese and what you're promoting is unhealthy. And, you know, that I'm doing this big, terrible thing. And, you know, I would love to just comment on every single one, you know, and just kind of not lash out, but just be like, you know nothing about me. I am so much more healthier than I was, you know, 5, 6 years ago when I was at my smallest. I was 130 pounds, not eating, over exercising, doing, oh my God, what wasn't I doing? I was abusing Diet Coke and I was abusing laxatives and I was throwing up my food and I was, you know, like just all these unhealthy coping mechanisms. And now that I actually eat food,
mm,
people say it's unhealthy.
yeah.
It just, the narrative there is just so skewed in so many people's minds. Unless you personally are my doctor, you cannot comment on anything. You don't know people, what they're going through. Um, you just, it's just so skewed in my mind that people think that they know what's best for you over a computer screen or over social media. You don't, people just need to take a step back and stay in their lane. So
Yeah.
that I think is such a common misconception.
Yes, absolutely. I love that. Stay in your lane. But yeah, that unhealthy equals big equals fat and healthy equals skinny. That is so not true. And I think what really what's the word, helps this mentality is the diet culture, like what is it, like Weight Watchers, you know, all
Oh
these
God, yes.
meal plans, diets, like they want you to think that, right, so that they can sell you all these things. It's low key like a marketing tactic as well. With all diet culture, it's a huge business, and they want you to think that in order to, I mean, love yourself, to be healthy, to all the things, you need to be smaller. Speaking of Weight Watchers, that just popped up in my mind. What's your thoughts around Weight Watchers and them going into what's the word?
Bankruptcy.
Bankruptcy.
So here in Canada, they have filed for bankruptcy. I've heard a couple mixed stories. I'm sure it has to do with Ozempic and other, you know, weight loss brands. Um, but at the same time, you know, I was on Weight Watchers when I was a lot younger, and it skewed the way that I viewed food. You know, food was points, food was this, food was, you know, 0 calories. I could have them for 0 points. And it put this notion in my brain that I'm like, food is equaled in, you know, certain categories that some are untouchable, and some I can only have like on one day a month. And like the concept is just mind blowing. If you're eating good and healthy for your body, why would food have points associated with them?
Right.
Nutritional facts, yeah, absolutely. If they're good for your body, great, but having, their crisps or wafers at, 2 points, and they're just they're just trying to upsell you, and they hope more than anything that you fail so they can make more money off of us hating ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's Mrs. Wills. Welcome to the live. Whole foods are always best for your body. What are your thoughts about homegrown kai, etc.? Kai is food. So what are your thoughts about homegrown food, Jesse?
Oh my gosh. I mean, I we here like here in Canada we have huge local markets every weekend, and it's all like homegrown, organic, right from local farmers here. And organic and homegrown is best, of course. Yeah. I mean, absolutely. If it's good for your body and it's grown at home, it's just it's great. Absolutely. I think it's amazing.
Mm. Yeah, absolutely. I love that. I went to a retreat earlier this year and we were in like a mansion. It was so freaking
Oh
beautiful.
my God.
Had a chef and they were just talking about the food and the nutrients in the food and how important if you can, because I mean not everyone can get homegrown food and go to local farmers markets and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But if you can, how much more better it is for you because the things that are in your supermarket sometimes they are what's the word, they've got extra chemicals and stuff like that to keep them what's the word, preserved, I feel
Yeah.
like. So yeah, if you can, homegrown, amazing. But yeah, that was a huge eye opener for me as well, being in that space. And I think it's freaking amazing to learn more about food and what you put in your body, not only with food, but the social media you're consuming, the TV, the radio, like all the things that are around you, your whole environment, the people, and conversations that you're getting into and things like that.
Yeah.
I'd love to know,
Absolutely.
Jesse, I've seen that you get a lot of, and I say a lot, it might not be a lot to you, we'll see what you say, backlash or hate comments, specifically from men I see online, about the way that you look, the things that you're doing online, that you are confident in your big body, which for some people, I was like, what the hell? She can be confident and plus size? Like, what's going on? So I'd love to know, how do you deal with the hate, the backlash, all of that?
It used to affect me, and now, I mean, of course, there's going to be little stings, little pinches here and there. The only pinches that I can say that really affect me are when it's from women.
Yeah.
Women, I'm just like, really? Like, what happened to being a girl's girl, women supporting women? And, like, women go through so many stages of, childbirth and menopause. And, you know, and then for someone like a woman to comment on another woman's body in a negatory way, that to me, I'm just like, wow, that one gets under my skin. Men, men, I don't care about because, their opinions are just, yeah, oh yeah, they're just to the wind. I feel like with a lot of men, what they don't find attractive is what they love to pick on your insecurities. If I'll have some people say like, "Oh, you're very beautiful. I love, fat women." And, like, thank you very much. That's what you enjoy. That's what you prefer. That's great. But it's the men that don't find you attractive because they have another body type or, whatever that might be. They love to pick on who they don't find attractive. And that's fine. I don't need you to find me attractive. I am here for the girls, the gays, the theys. I'm not here to, yeah, shake my ass on camera for men. I do all my funny skits and everything. This is for everyone else that needs a reminder to love themselves today. it's not for men that choose to type "you're a fat cow" online. They're just keyboard warriors, and they can continue, um, being keyboard warriors. So,
Yeah,
anyways,
absolutely. I love that. I love that you mentioned that. I remember one of my videos went viral about, I think it was like, if people keep commenting on your weight, it's time to get them out of your life, kind of thing. It was that kind of vibe. And I had so many comments. It was actually crazy. My DMs were blowing up. They were like calling me fat, sending me uh, whale gifts and like all this kind of stuff. And I was like, whoa, like this is crazy. But I did notice that I didn't really care so much when it was for men and people who weren't actually my audience. Like, I'm
yeah,
actually not here online for you. And that was the reason why I could just be like, yeah, whatever, kind of thing. And then people who were actually seriously asking questions, looking for advice, all these kinds of things, I would reply to them and talk back to their hate comments. Or if they said, wow, you're unhealthy, it was like, okay, I'm going to reply to that and I'm going to tell you that that is wrong and all the things.
yeah,
But one thing that I love that you mentioned, and I think it's the same for me, is that the purpose why we're doing this in the first place is for the women who literally cry themselves to sleep, don't show up in their lives, hey, look in the mirror and hate themselves. It's like we are here for them, because we know what it feels like. We
yeah,
know what it feels like to look in the mirror, to hate yourself, to cry yourself to sleep, thinking that you're not good enough because you look a certain way and that you're not worthy because of the size of your body. So showing up for those people, that's what always helps me as well in times
absolutely.
when I feel like I am, I guess, getting a lot of hate.
Yeah. It's weird. It comes in waves. Sometimes I won't have anything for a while, and then sometimes it's just a tsunami. I'm like, oh my gosh, where did you people come from? I'm like, get out of here. But you know what? The more you either A, don't comment back, I feel like it makes them even more mad,
Mm,
or you comment in a funny or polite way. I always just say, have my favorite comment back is, have the day you deserve.
I love that.
Because people are just like, oh, what is it? Well, I will have a nice day. I'm like, I bet you will. Have a great one. Like if that's really what you put out energy wise into the universe, and that's what you choose to put out on social media, online, in real life, I don't care. Um, I mean, at the end of the day, I feel sorry for you.
Yeah.
You know, I feel sorry for you. It's not a reflection of me.
Mm,
It's so much more a reflection of those sad people in their own lives that are going through something. I'm like, honey, you must be going through something big to just project that amount of anger onto strangers on the internet.
yeah, absolutely. I love that you mentioned that because it's them, it's on them, they're projecting. And yeah, sometimes I'm like, just kill them with kindness. Like they
Oh,
obviously need help. So sending you love and help, please. You're okay.
you need it more than I do.
Yeah.
So love and light. And I hope that you heal.
Yeah.
Whatever part of you needs some help, because, normal people just don't comment that kind of stuff if they're happy and healthy and thriving in their own lives. These are the people that need help the most. So I wish them nothing but good luck.
Yeah, absolutely. For someone who is watching and they are stuck in criticism, they're stuck in shame, they're maybe like, oh, I want to post online, but I'm scared of getting backlash. I want to go to the beach in my bikini. I want to wear the outfit that makes me feel so good in my body, but I'm scared of what people might say. What's something you would say to them?
I was told this when I was a preteen and I went into high school with it. So just kind of follow along with me just for a minute and then it'll kind of come full circle. So when I was going into high school, I had a hairdresser say to me, you know, don't be nervous. And I said, well, like that doesn't really help. What does that mean? She says, you know what? It's 15 seconds. I'm like, what do you mean by that? 15 seconds. She says, it's 15 seconds overall of feeling insecure, scared, alone, not worthy, until you walk in the room and you show people and you show up as yourself and you show people why you're there. And I kept that with me all through high school. I'm going to show up for 15 seconds and I'm going to show people why they want to be in the same room as me and how I want to show up. I'm going to give them the best 15 seconds and then I'm going to feel comfortable in that room.
Mm,
Give yourself
mm,
15 seconds to do something you're scared of, to show up in your bikini, do the thing. And then if you're really not comfortable, then backpedal and say, okay, what do I need to do in order to get to that point that I'm so scared of? But give yourself 15 seconds to feel uncomfortable until you internalize that and work through it.
mm.
Yeah,
I love that. I love that so much. Give yourself 15 seconds.
15
Yes,
seconds.
absolutely. And when I talk about confidence as well, I always say like confidence is action. Like confidence is doing the damn thing. Like you can't get confidence and then go and do the scary thing that you want. You're out there doing the scary thing and confidence comes because you're doing the scary
Yeah.
thing. So I
Yeah.
love that you mentioned, for 15 seconds, like take action for 15 seconds and then see how it goes. And usually, most of the time, once you're doing it for 15 seconds, like you said, you're like having a ball, having a good time. You're like, damn, like it's different over there. It's different outside your comfort zone. And a lot of people stay inside their comfort zone, inside of what feels good. And they never get to experience what is out there. But what is out there is freaking amazing. It
Absolutely.
is so good out there. So yeah, 15 seconds. I love that. Thank
Thank you. They just need to give themselves some grace. Just
you.
show up as authentically as you can, doing the scary thing that you don't want to do. And I promise you that confidence will come. You
Mm,
gotta fake it till you make it. I hate that term, but it's so true in so many things that I've done in my life. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna fake this until I know that I can show up and I can make my dreams come true. And that's what I've done on this platform. I'm gonna,
mm,
you show up for yourself and then people start showing up for you too. But if you put yourself first and you show up for only yourself when no one else cheers for you, I guarantee people will start to notice.
yeah. Yes, absolutely. One of my mentors used to say, face it till you make it. And I was like, I love that. Like,
I
yeah,
like that. Yeah.
face it, and then you'll make it.
Love that.
I love that you mentioned about, I can't remember if you actually said backing yourself, but it gave me the mind thoughts of backing yourself. One thing that I really talk about with the women that I coach or just online. Actually, I'm in this era of backing myself and showing up unapologetically. Actually, I went to a seminar and he talked about authenticity being the highest frequency that you can vibrate at. So a lot of people think that love is the highest frequency, but apparently authenticity is like 40 times more powerful in vibration, that in what you can vibrate at, the frequency that you can vibrate at. And I talk a lot about this with my women. It's like when you are fully stepped into yourself, your being, you're just like, you're not looking at other people for direction, you're not asking other people, you're tuning into yourself and you're like, hey, what is it that you need? What do you want to do? What is your purpose? What would you like to do today? How would you like to show up? How do you want to speak? What do you want to wear? Like when you actually tune into yourself and stop listening to all the outside noise, this is your life freaking changes because you were just at a frequency that nobody else can get to. You're freaking crazy up there. And I think that shows a lot in what you are doing because you are so authentically yourself. You are vibrating at this such a high frequency. And I mean, I don't know you outside of online. I wish I was in Canada, but I see this in the content that you post, the messages that I see in your comments. It is so freaking beautiful. Like that is so, so amazing. So I would love for you, and we'll wrap up as well, just to kind of speak on this backing yourself, this self-trust, this authentically being you. Like if you could speak to that, if anything is coming up for you, I would love for you to end us off on that.
Absolutely. You know what? This is my favorite question that I get asked, and I don't get asked it a lot. And so every time I get to answer this question, I'm like, oh, this is perfect.
Yes.
When I first started your daily dose, it's been 2 years.
Mm,
For the most part, I have been cheering myself on with very, 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 very little help.
mm,
No one really truly believed in my dreams except for me. My husband, yes, of course, he would root me on, but for the most part, everyone would say, oh, your little videos, how are they going?
mm,
Oh, I saw that you were posing, kind of, sexualizing yourself online. I'm like, no, that's not how I show up online, but did you get a chance to, really take in the video and learn to, see what it was all about? And, half the people I really noticed that were asking about my videos were either making fun of them or were genuinely asking, but just didn't really know how to show up for me. And that's totally fine. But until you learn to show up for yourself, by yourself sometimes, and be the only one that's cheering yourself on, I mean, that's when it all changes, is when you start to believe in yourself.
mm,
Now, fast forward, or I mean, rewind about 6 months, 7 months ago, I was posting really, I wouldn't say like safe content. I was not really showing who I was
mm.
and my humor. A lot of people have really resonated with my humor. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to try to do a video where I kind of come out of my shell and show people who I really am and see if anyone resonates with that. Well, 7 months ago, I had about maybe 14,000 followers on here. I
Mm.
am almost at 30,000 people that,
Yes.
sorry, that view my content. And, so it just goes to show that if you show up authentically for yourself, even if you're the only one that cares to listen, in the end, you will be the one on top. And then that's when people will start to really look and ask and care. But to summarize, you don't really need them if you believe in yourself.
I love this. I love that so much. That was like mic drop at the end. It's like, to summarize, you actually don't even need them. If you believe in yourself, you actually don't need anybody else.
No.
How freaking beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh,
It was such a full circle moment when I'm like, wow, I believed in me from day one. And I'm like, you know what? I can do this. I can do this. Even when no one else cared to listen. And now I'm like, wow, people care, but that's just the cherry on top.
yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I love that. We've actually got one question
Yeah.
here. Elena, thank you so much for being here, girlfriend. How did you step into your authenticity without fear?
Ooh. I'd say that there was definitely fear around it,
Mm,
fear of failure, but I failed so many times on so many different aspects of my life
mm,
that almost the failure in the end becomes lessons, if that makes sense. They all come full circle in a way where I'm like, you know what, I failed, but maybe this wasn't meant for me.
yeah,
So if I'm going to continue doing something, maybe let's see if we can do it a different way that will come full circle and make sense to what my mission is.
mm,
But I never look at anything without being like, you know what, I'm scared. I'm scared to do this, but I'm going to do it to see if this is right for me. How
yeah.
about yourself? How do you step into your authenticity without fear?
Yeah, I was just gonna, as soon as I saw that, I was like, girlfriend, I need to tell you that there's gonna be fear. Like, you cannot bypass the fear. I don't know if someone knows how to, please tell me. But with everything that I have done with it being authentically myself, there is always fear. And it's this programming and conditioning that you have to look a certain way, you have to say things a certain way. One thing I overcame just recently was that I wasn't professional enough. Because I swear a lot. I say things that people are like, that's not true. That's not, like and I'm like, no, 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 stay with me. And then I get the facts out, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I always thought, no, you have to be prim and proper, and you have to look this way, and you can't, I don't know, you can't wear crop tops, and you can't wear orange, and you can't wear big hoops. Like, and it's just like, no, like you get to do all these things, you get to be you. And I felt fear, or every time I feel fear, but it's getting these coping mechanisms, doing the inner work, knowing what works for you. I mean, I have a very big morning routine that sets me up for the day, where this morning I had this beautiful breathwork session, and I do some meditation and journaling. And if fear pops in, it's like, okay, instead of just like pushing it down and being like, no, no, I can't, I don't want to, it's like, okay, cool, what are you trying to tell me? What do you want to say? And
Yeah.
it's usually stuff that from the past, that from when I was a little girl. I was like, no, you can't do that because this might happen, or this might happen. I'm like, oh, okay, tell me more. Tell me, like, get to know yourself. What are those things coming out? Like, tell me all the things. And then you get to look at the thoughts behind the fear and just be like, actually, that's not true. These thoughts aren't true. These thoughts aren't real. They're old things that were programmed into me. They're stories and beliefs that I've told myself for so long, but I don't want to believe them anymore. And
Yeah.
it's like, I'm gonna, usually I debunk them. I'm like, that's not true. Or sometimes it's like, okay, I get why you're scared, because this is scary. You're about to put yourself out there. When I speak in on stages and stuff like that, you're about to put yourself out there to hundreds of people, and you don't know what's going to happen. But you've got to back yourself. Like, I trust myself so much that no matter what happens, I might fall over, I might forget how to talk, I might forget how to walk. It's like, I got you. I got you. No matter what happens, I've got you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I
So,
love
yeah.
that.
Thank you. Well, thank you so much for joining me on this live. I am so grateful that I was able to find you online and see your content. And I think really have someone who is in, this space as well, where I can be like, oh, she's authentically being herself. Like, I am inspired by what you're doing. I'm like, okay, cool. If she can show up like that, so can I,
Yep.
right? And I think so many other women will see that as well. If she can show up authentically as herself, like, so can I. And I love your humor as well. Like,
Thank
sometimes like
you.
I want to post on all the posts and stuff. She's probably like, is this girl stalking me?
I
But
love it. Please.
yeah, I will. I probably will after this go get my binge of your daily dose of self-love. But
I
thank
love
you
it.
so much. Is there anything you would like to say before we wrap up? Thank you so much to everyone who joined us as well. Thank
Yes, thank you so much just for having me, for inviting me on. And no, I love being a part of this and being a part of the conversation. So thank you for allowing us to have voices and to want to talk to us about the, sometimes heavy conversations, but also the fun ones where we can chat and yeah, start to make a difference in other people that might be watching this.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Jessie. You have a beautiful night. Thank you so much for blessing us. And this is also going to be popped up as a replay, and then also I'll add it to my podcast and YouTube and all the things, so that more eyes can get onto this, because I know it will help so many. So have a beautiful night, girlfriend.
Thank you so much. I look forward to talking again in the future.
Yes. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.